Good morning, good people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let's see. We already got Miss Lori in here. We got Demi up in here. Symmetry. Miss Siller. Kashori's Kitchen. Sharon Smile. What's up, y'all? Mama Bees. What's going on? I told y'all I was going to come back this morning because, yesterday was just a bit of a day. Yesterday was a bit of a day, okay? So, we're back this morning to get it crack-a-lacking, all right? And if y'all could do me a favor and double tap the screen as you guys come in, it would be great. It is Friday. Hey, it's Friday. What? Hey, P2 Ross. Hey, IPV. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So, child, I was trying to get these lawsuits for y'all. Because if y'all don't know, Diddy was sued again by a man yesterday, as well as Christian and Diddy were sued as well. But we'll just go over the articles because I heard that the lawsuits are very disappointing. They were done by Tony Busby. Tony Busby is who is representing these folks, and so we're going to go over that here in just a second before we get into the rest of the closing arguments from yesterday. All right, let's see here. Give me 1 second. New Diddy lawsuits, child. All right. So let's go ahead and get this one in. This one is involving him and his son, okay? Now, I'm reading this from E! Entertainment News. If I get the lawsuit, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I actually have a snippet of one of the lawsuits. Let me see, which one is this? What does that have to do with Justin? I thought, so Justin is, I thought it was, oh, it is Justin. Okay, got it. State, I don't know what states it's in. I'm assuming New York or, okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, so let's just read the article on this one. Okay, we'll read the factual allegations. I have a screenshot of the factual allegations, and then I'll read the article. Now, this is in regards to Justin and Sean Diddy Combs. They have been accused of facilitating a woman's alleged gang R-word, Grape, okay? Amid Diddy's federal ex-trafficking trial, the 31-year-old and his dad is facing a civil lawsuit from a woman who alleges that she was rugged and actually assaulted by three masked men during a 2017 trip to Los Angeles arranged by Justin, according to the court documents obtained by E! News on the 26th. Now, I'm going to read you guys the factual allegations, and then I'll come back to this article. In March or April of 2017, Justin contacted plaintiff through Snapchat. The two messaged back and forth, and the plaintiff eventually sent Justin risque photos at Justin's request. The same day, Justin offered to fly plaintiff out to Los Angeles for the weekend. At the time, plaintiff lived in New Orleans, Louisiana. Plaintiff was interested in a career in the entertainment industry and Plaintiff was interested in a career in the entertainment industry a subject that she and Justin had discussed in their messages. Justin told plaintiff that a trip to Los Angeles would be helpful for her in terms of her potential career. In fact, Justin told plaintiff that if she came to Los Angeles, that he would get her a position with Revolt TV in Atlanta through his and his father's connections. Ooh, now Justin, not you over here doing the stuff that they allege your El Papa was around here doing. Ooh, Justin. Now wait a minute. Again, these are allegations. These are allegations, honey. These are allegations. All right. So it's alleged. Okay. All right. On or around Friday, April the 14th of 2017, plaintiff flew to Los Angeles. A driver in a black SUV picked her up that night and took her to a house that Justin called the Glass House, in parentheses. On information and belief, the Glass House is an ultra high-end property available for rent on Loma Linda Drive in Beverly Hills. That night, plaintiff and Justin mostly talked, sharing a relaxed evening alone in the penthouse. I guess that's what that's supposed to be. Anyway, hey, grown, don't try me, IPV, everybody that is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here. Double tap the screen because it don't cost you a single thing. All right. Thank you. Where was I? All right. That night, plaintiff and Justin mostly talked, sharing a relaxed evening alone. They stayed in the house all evening, which surprised plaintiff as she had expectations to go on the town. On Saturday, they stayed in the house all day as well, surprising and frustrating the plaintiff. When asked if they were going to leave, Justin abruptly said no. That day and into the evening, Justin offered plaintiff liquor and then marijuana. When plaintiff believed it was laced due to the effect it had on her, Justin then offered and made plaintiff take various pills or poppers throughout the day. After Justin and the plaintiff had consumed multiple drugs, 3 other men arrived at the house. All 3 wore masquerade masks. 2 were unrecognizable to plaintiff, but she recognized the 3rd defendant, Diddy, due in part to his stature and mannerisms, but also because Justin referred to him on at least one occasion as Pops. Plaintiff was taken upstairs to a bedroom. There, she was told, "You better let this happen or else." In the bedroom, each of the 3 men took turns R-wording plaintiff both anally and orally while she was rugged and incapacitated. The brutal gang R-word of plaintiff continued from Saturday evening through at least midday on Sunday, with the 3 men continuing to take their turns abusing the plaintiff. On Monday, plaintiff was driven back to the airport and dropped off. Throughout the weekend and afterwards, Justin held over plaintiff's head the possibility of a job with Remote TV, which never really happened, as well as the photos that she sent to him on Snapchat, which he had saved and could release at his pleasure. Okay. Anyway, as a result of the abuse, plaintiff has suffered severe emotional distress, emotional anguish, fear, anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, physical injury, emotional injury, and trauma. All right. Okay. Couple things here. I'm not saying that they didn't do this. I'm not saying that. But I do. Now. Can we call a spade a spade? Can we call a spade a spade? I think y'all probably already know where I'm getting ready to go with this. Can we call a spade a spade? I just want to know y'all can still hear me and y'all still here with me. It's only 30 people in here. Y'all gonna have to talk. I know y'all at work, but y'all gonna have to talk to me a little bit. Can we call a spade a spade? Can we tell the truth? Shame the devil. Well, again, I don't know if this is the truth. But, yeah, Tony Busby, I think you might want to try again with this one. I just got to keep it all the way 1,000. Like, reading these details are pretty specific, but can I ask the real true question? Why this man's trial is going on? I'm going to second guess all of you guys' lawsuits, especially on the heels of the trial ending. Yeah, I gotta call a thing a thing. These lawsuits coming after the fact is weird to me. It's weird. I don't know that. And again, I'm being fair. Y'all know how I feel about Diddy, so I'm being extremely fair. However, I gotta call a thing a thing. This just seems weird on the heels of his trial, on the heels of him. We're in the closing arguments of the trial. I just think it's weird. And maybe it's just me, but anyway, let's read this article, because this article gives just a few more details. In the complaint, the woman alleged that Justin, who she said she met through Snapchat, flew her out to New Orleans under the guise of that he would get her a remote position at Revolt TV in Atlanta. Upon her arrival, the woman said that Justin, the son of the Bad Boys record founder and Misa Hilton, spent time at the Beverly Hills home consuming alcohol and marijuana, which she believed was laced due to the effect that it had on her. The woman also alleged that the son of the music mogul made her take various pills and poppers throughout the day. After consuming the drugs, the woman said 3 masked men arrived at the house and they allegedly took turns R-wording her from Saturday evening until midday Sunday. Following the alleged intoxication, the lawsuit states that the 3 masked men arrived and took turns R-wording plaintiff both anally and orally while she was drugged and incapacitated from Saturday evening until midday Sunday. Though 2 of the men were unknown to her, she said that she knew it was Diddy due to his mannerisms and his stature, and because Justin called him Pops. The woman said that the possibility of a job at Revolt TV never materialized, and she suffered severe emotional distress, emotional anguish, fear, anxiety, humiliation, embarrassment, physical injury, emotional injury, and trauma as a result of the alleged incident. Okay. She is suing the father and the son duo as well as Diddy's businesses for sexual battery, gender violence, and negligent supervision. In a response to the lawsuit, Diddy's legal team denied the allegations on his behalf. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sexually trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor, the rapper's lawyers told E! News. In a June 26 statement, we live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident that he will prevail in court. As Diddy's ongoing federal trial approaches to close, read on to learn more about the proceedings, and we won't care about that because I'll get into the other stuff. Yeah, I don't know about this one. And again, I think timing is everything. And yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen to the young lady. But there are really just, I don't know, a masquerade ball, a masquerade mask compared to like a ski mask or uh, uh, I don't I don't know. But then also, y'all, so you not saying that Justin took turns on you? Justin just called you over? Is that what you're saying? Because she specifically said that she out of the she didn't recognize the other two people, but she recognized Diddy. So if you didn't recognize the other two people, was Justin involved? I'm just wondering, was Justin involved? She specifically, see, y'all gotta listen to detail. Gotta listen to detail. She specifically said that there were 3 individuals who had on masquerade masks. She only recognized one of them based off of his stature, based off of the way that he talks, and that would have been Diddy. So the other 2 people you're saying you don't recognize, and so what you're saying is, I'm confused. I'm confused. Tony Busby, keep it cute, because I think what you're doing, I think you're going down the same road. Well, you've been down this road with Tyrone Blackburn. Y'all gotta figure this up. So she's saying that Justin set it up for 3 men, including one of them being Diddy, coming in and doing what he's doing. That's interesting. Andre said there is another story about him doing this to a girl on a yacht or something. There is another story about that. Yep, you're right. True or not, he deserves to be locked behind prison walls. He is a monster, and he hurt or is responsible for the harm of many decades, allegedly. I'm with you on that. Like, listen, I think a lot of people be new around here. I don't give a dog about Diddy. I want to be very clear about that. Diddy is a dog. Once I saw that video solidified everything for me. I don't care. So, my thing though is with this, the timing is everything. And you're waiting until this man is in closing arguments in his trial to drop lawsuits. It's not very smart. It's not. It's not very smart. It's not very smart. If you thought about this, or if this had already happened, why you ain't filed a lawsuit when everybody else was filing lawsuits or something like that? It makes people look at you a certain different type of way, because again, you've waited until the closing arguments in his current trial to then come out and say something as if what? I mean, okay. Anyway, I'm a very fair person, and when the defense is doing that big one, I'm gonna tell you. When I feel like the prosecution is doing that big one, I'm gonna tell you. That's what we've been doing over here. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this other lawsuit. All right. Let's see. I don't really see this one. Let's see. Give me 1 second, y'all. If I didn't speak to you guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me see. Man, okay, here we go. Found it. Alright, so Diddy is being sued by a man who claims that Diddy sodomized him at a house party after telling him, "You are about to get that Diddy love." Oh my God. Crazy thing is, I believe that Diddy love part. I don't know, something about that. The Bad Boys Records founder is being sued by a man named Brandon Adams, who claims, now they put the man name out there, Brandon Adams, who claims that he was invited to a Diddy party in a party that was hosted in 2021, only to show up and get sexually assaulted. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Adams claims that he got the invite from a chauffeur that he met at a Los Angeles gas station, and when he showed up, he says that he was told to keep his phone in the car. Inside the bash, he claims he saw celebrities, but didn't interact with any of them, and had some alcoholic drinks that made him feel dizzy. Adams claims that he found an empty bedroom, collapsed onto the bed, and fell unconscious. He says the next thing that he remembers is the feeling of a hand unbuckling his belt. He says that, child, I'm distracted. Anyway, excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Jesus. He says that he asked what was going on and heard a man's voice he believes was Diddy answering, "You're about to get that Diddy love." In the suit, Adams claims that he was rolled from his stomach onto his side and told, "Don't worry, you're about to get a great massage." He says he turned his head and saw Diddy sodomizing him. Okay. Adams claims that he tried to protest, but Diddy grabbed the back of his neck and threatened him by reciting the information on the driver's license, which Adams says that had been scanned by security upon entry. He says that Diddy finished up and left the room, and Adams says that he felt pain and a vile sensation. Adams claims that he tried to confront Diddy, but was interrupted by security guards who carried him to another room and told him that he could either play along and leave the party like nothing happened or leave the hard way. He says that he played along and was told to sign an NDA. He claims that once he signed, he was escorted to the exit and allowed to leave. But he says that he got pulled over on his way home and arrested for a DUI, which he blamed on the lingering effects of the drugs that he unknowingly consumed. Adams is suing Diddy for sexual assault, battery, gender violence, and more, and he's going after him for damages. His lawyer, Tony Busby, which tells us everything we need to know, the Texas attorney representing a slew of Diddy victims, and the suit was filed during Diddy's criminal trial. Worth noting, none of Busby's clients have testified in the Diddy trial. Diddy's legal team gave the response that I told y'all about a while ago. So, couple of things here. I hate doing this. I really hate doing this. A couple of things here, sir. I know how you can refute this. Where's the NDA at? Where's the NDA at? Do you have a copy of the NDA? See, this is what I don't understand sometimes. Like, if y'all are going to say that NDAs and contracts and things were signed, why don't y'all keep a copy of this stuff? I'm not signing nothing that I can't get a copy of. And maybe they didn't give him a copy of the NDA. Maybe they didn't. But, come on now. I'm not... Listen, and this go for everybody. You won't ever catch me signing a contract or nothing that I cannot have a copy of with my signature on it. Now that I think about it, there's probably too much like right in situations like this. If it happened, again, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just going to say alleged. But sir, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know how I feel about this one. Y'all, anything with Tony Busby and Tyrone Blackburn is being threaded with a fine tooth comb, honey. It's like everything is being looked at through a lens. So I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. Like I said, I ain't signing nothing that I can get a copy of that I signed it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Okay, I got the full lawsuit for Justin. I want the full lawsuit for thank you, Tracy. I want the full lawsuit for this man allegedly. Let me send Tracy this man's name. And maybe she can find it this way. And it had to be in LA. Okay. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me. Oh, this was filed yesterday. Oh no. No. So there's a man that's in jail in Michigan that's currently suing Diddy as well. Okay, hold on 1 second. Name is Brandon Adams. Okay. Good morning, Mimi. Good morning, Bama girl. Good morning. Good morning. All right, y'all. So now that we've gotten those two lawsuits out of the way, let's go ahead and get into some of the updates from the closing arguments as of yesterday. All right. So the prosecution did finish their closing arguments, and I'm going to read a few that I feel like are important. Because there's so much on this page. Okay, closing arguments. We read all that. All right, let's start from here. All right, B.C. Jones said being a victim, one could be afraid of coming out because of this monster. Oh, yeah. I think we've all established that. It's not even about coming out, though. It's about you waiting until the closing arguments of this lawsuit. You filed I think people are just filing lawsuits to be filing lawsuits at this point. And that's no shade. And that's not me saying that Diddy is not a bad person or anything like that, because I need you guys to understand how I feel about this man. But it does raise a question. It absolutely raises a question, and I think that's normal. It's going to raise a question because what we're trying to figure out now is why now? If all of these things happened some years ago, you should have been. What confidence do you have now in the closing arguments? Now you have confidence. You didn't have confidence to come out when all these victims were literally on the stand giving their true testimony of these things. Like, that's my issue. My issue is not that you filing a lawsuit or any of that stuff. My issue is the timing. My issue is the timing. Like, this is dumb. The timing is dumb. And also, Tony Busby is not to be trusted. There's literally a track record online of Tony Busby and the way that Tony Busby does things. Just like Tyrone Blackburn, they add a lot of smoke to certain things that don't need that added. Like, and those are just the facts. It's again, I'm not defending Diddy in any way. I'm just saying that these are obvious things to take into consideration during this time. You know. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. All right, Prosecutor Christie said that she'll move through the counts to tell the jury how the government proved its case against Sean Diddy Combs at trial. She is using a PowerPoint guide to guide her through her presentation. So it says that Christie laid out the elements the government must prove for the jury to convict Combs of one count of racketeering. There was a conspiracy to participate in Combs' enterprises. The Combs enterprise affected interstate or foreign commerce. The defendant knowingly and willfully became a member of the conspiracy. The defendant knowingly and willfully agreed that he or another member of the conspiracy will commit 2 racketeering crimes. It goes on to say that Christie said that when she talks about the enterprise, she is not referring to Combs' company called Combs Enterprises. The enterprise is Combs and his trusted inner circle, Christie said, and it exists to several. Wait. It existed to serve his needs and to serve his wants. All right. They showed the jury a photo of KK, his former chief of staff, describing her as one of Combs' most loyal lieutenants. I mean, not a lieutenant, but one of his most loyal lieutenants. Members of Sean Diddy Combs' security team were also a part of the inner circle. Some of those security guards had been working for Combs for a very long time. It goes on to say that she described Combs' assistant as foot soldiers of the enterprise. She said that they didn't blink an eye when they were directed to do something by Combs. KK, Combs' former chief of staff, or a member of her security guard or his security team, even when it meant facilitating a crime. These individuals were all paid by Combs' company. She mentioned that Brandon Paul, a Combs former assistant, testified that he made $100,000. KK made 6 times of that, making $600,000 in a year. The defendant used the money from his businesses to facilitate the crimes that he and his inner circle committed. All right. The prosecution tells the jury to find Combs conspired to commit racketeering. The assistant U.S. attorney, Christie, again, y'all, I don't know how to say her last name, told the jury they must anonymously find that Sean Diddy Combs knowingly, willfully agreed that he and another member of the conspiracy would commit 2 racketeering acts. Christie said that there is evidence of multiple acts committed by crimes enterprises. Christie listed the categories of the crime that the panel can find Combs and members of his enterprise agreed to commit, including distribution of rugs, kidnapping, arson, bribery. All of these are crimes facilitated by Combs. Sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura and Jane, facilitating travel for Combs' girlfriend and male escorts for commercial sex, forced labor, and helping Combs cover up his crimes. Prosecutor Christie discussed rug distribution, telling the jury that they were an essential ingredient of every freak-off. The way the defendant kept Cassie Ventura and Jane awake and compliant in rooms for days. He fed them rugs for years, and he didn't get those rugs on his own. He used the enterprise. Sean Diddy Combs would direct his assistants and security to help obtain rugs, Christie said. She listed examples of rugs that were found in Combs' home during the 2024 searches, including cocaine, meth, ketamine, and ecstasy. Christie said that the quantity of rugs is not an element of this crime. The only element that must be proven are that the co-conspirators distributed rugs and did so knowingly. Once Combs received the rugs from his assistant, he gave them to Cassie and Jane. This is rug distribution, plain and simple. Jane is one of Combs' accusers who testified under pseudonym earlier this month. Ventura is Combs' former girlfriend and one of his accusers. All right, let's keep going. Prosecutor Christie returned to Capricorn Clark's testimony about when she had to take several lie detector tests in 2024. Y'all remember? Y'all remember that? Hey, little baby, what's going on? Hey, Mimi. Hey, everybody. Y'all hit that like button, please. I greatly appreciate it. All right, this is kidnapping. Prosecutors remind jury Combs forced Ventura to stay in a hotel after assault. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christie reminded the jury of Cassie Ventura's testimony about a 2009 incident when, after stomping her on her face in the car, Sean Diddy Combs forced her to stay at a hotel for a week until her injuries healed. Combs' security guard brought her back to his house after she jumped out of the car and tried to run away. What I've been saying. While she stayed at the hotel, Combs' staff brought her clothes and food, and his security team made sure she didn't leave. Christie told the jury that they can be confident this happened because Combs' former assistant, David James, testified that he remembered bringing her ice cream while she was staying at that hotel. He did say that. This is kidnapping. It's clear that Cassie did not consent to staying at the London hotel, but she had no choice. The defendant told her that she couldn't leave. He had his security team tell her that she couldn't leave, and Cassie knew what happened when people said no to the defendant. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christie said that Sean Diddy Combs kidnapped Capricorn Clark again in December of 2011, forcing her to go with him and his security guard to Kid Cudi's house after learning Cassie Ventura was dating the rapper. Christie reminded the jury of Clark's testimony about that morning when Combs came to her door with a pow-pow and told her, "Get dressed, we're going to unalive Cudi, and I don't give a F what you want to do. Go get dressed." They drove to the rapper's house where Combs trespassed. Later that day, Combs wouldn't let Clark leave his supervision until she brought Ventura to him. Clark testified that she went to Ventura and convinced her to return to Combs' house, where Clark said that she watched Combs brutally attack Ventura as they lay on the ground in front of the house. Right? Okay, we're going to keep on going, child. All right, so this is important, I feel like. So the assistant U.S. Attorney, Christie, give me 1 second, lost my place. Here we go. Returned to the arson involving Kid Cudi's car in January of 2012 when the roof of his Porsche was cut open and a cocktail was dropped inside. Of course, the defendant was behind this. Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise to you that we're not suggesting that the defendant personally cut the hole in Kid Cudi's Porsche. However, you heard the audio notes that the defendant didn't even buy his own soup. Christie said that the defense has tried to suggest that Combs had nothing to do with the arson, but the evidence and basic logic suggests otherwise. They also pointed out to Ventura's testimony where she said that Combs told her that he was going to have Kid Cudi's car blown up when he was out of the country. She pointed to an email where Cassie Ventura sent in December of 2011 that details some of Combs' threats, including that Combs threatened to hurt her and Cudi, but not with his own hands. He'd do it while he is out of the country, so meaning he'd have someone else do it. What a coincidence that the man Sean Diddy Combs hated and wanted to hurt had his car lit on fire just 2 weeks after an email was sent. What are the odds? All right. Right, let's keep going. Peace break, my middle son. Oh, absolutely, Bama girl. Hey, Shan on the shade, little baby. Andre said, Armand said Capricorn told Diddy, no, I don't want to go. That is hilarious. Okay. Prosecutors says Y'all send up prayers for Bama Girl, please. Send up prayers. Send up prayers. All right? Send up prayers. I see we only have 28 people in here, and I'm okay with that. Just make sure that you guys double tap the screen, all right? It's greatly appreciated. We're almost done with this so that I can get ready for the defense child. All right, so one second. Also, they did take a lunch break yesterday. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so the threats, the sex trafficking, those are the things that they have been able to. They have also gone to the coercion as well. Now let's just go ahead and get into Jane, because I think that's where we left off. We left off really at Jane. So here we go. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christie told the jury about the pattern of the defendant's coercion that occurred over the years. She said that Sean Diddy Combs, paying for Jane's rent was one example of financial coercion. Okay, that's new. The rugs Jane took during the hotel nights were another aspect of coercion. The rugs Combs provided Jane made her feel actually aroused, and that Jane took them because they made it easier for her to get through the hotel nights. In another effort to coerce Jane, Combs threatened to send videos of her having sex with her child's sex with other men to her child's father. She said that the videos are some of the most private, intimate, embarrassing moments of Jane's life. The defendant knows how powerful that they are. Christie turned to count 2, ex-trafficking involving Cassie Ventura. The freak-offs became Ventura's job. It became her shame. Sean Diddy Combs, Paul Ventura, Ply Ventura with rugs, Christie said, and eventually she became reliant on them. I told y'all that Ventura never did a freak-off without rugs. Christie reminded the jury that Combs and Ventura met around 2007 when she was just 19 years old and just beginning her music career. When they began dating, Combs was her boss and controlled her career because she was signed to his record label, Bad Boys Records. He controlled her career, her appearance, and how she spent her time. A former assistant, David James, testified that he heard Combs tell a friend that Ventura was moldable. I got her right where I want her. She's young. James testified hearing Combs say, he said that she was very moldable. That right there is how I tell you guys, this is how she was a victim in the beginning. We may not agree with that on Jane's behalf, because I can tell y'all I don't feel the same way about all these people. But Cassie is clearly telling you what Cassie was capable of doing, why she couldn't necessarily leave. Here she is trying to leave, and here these goons are coming to get her. But that says it right there. She's young, and I got her right where I want her. Come on now. Let's just be for real. She's young, and I got her where I want her. A former assistant, David, okay, I already read that. The age difference, the power inequality, Cassie didn't have those things. Those dynamics drove the defendant's relationship with Cassie crazy. She said that Combs wanted total compliance from Ventura. You've heard it many times now that the defendant wouldn't take no for an answer. And with Cassie, the defendant thought that he found someone who wouldn't even try. Combs' efforts to control Ventura defined their relationship. Okay. And let's see here. Sean Diddy Combs was in control of Cassie Ventura's career. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christie said he wouldn't allow her to make money off of her music and would often prevent her from taking other opportunities. Combs paid for her car, phone, apartment, and other things. He made her dependent on him. 19 years old? That's crazy. Combs also did something similar to Ventura's family, like when he demanded $20,000 from her parents after he found out that she was seeing Kid Cudi. He also said the account belonging to Combs, which her parents wired money to, received about $3.4 million the same month and saw about $2 million in withdrawals. Ooh. And this wasn't about the 20K. This was about control, she said. Christie also said that she doesn't have time to review every instance of violence between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura today, but listed off several incidents spanning their 10-year relationship. Combs first started physically abusing Ventura about a year into their relationship. It is important for the jury. It is important for the jury to It's important for the jury to understand that the freak-offs were happening as the violence continued throughout their long-term relationship. Ventura never knew that Combs would be triggered and hurt her, which kept her off balance and gave Combs control in their relationship. The prosecutors reminded the jury that in 2010, Combs attacked Ventura until Prince's security intervened because Combs was angry, and she went to a party at Prince's house without Combs' permission. In 2011, Combs beat Ventura and threatened to release freak-out videos when he learned that she was dating Kid Cudi. Her mom took photos of her injuries, which were shown to the jury, and we also saw those as well. Christie also reminded the jury of a trip to Jamaica in 2015 when Carrie Morgan, a former friend of Ventura, testified that she saw Combs drag Ventura by her hair down the hallway because she was taking too long getting ready. Morgan described Ventura's screams as brutal. Okay, we talked about the trauma bonding that they said, which keeps the people there. The jury is also shown the video footage again from Intercontinental Hotel. The prosecutors played the surveillance footage. And this is where they get into him paying the hotel worker. All right, Daniel Phillip also testified about when he witnessed violence between Combs and Ventura. Phillip testified that he was paid between $700 and $6,000 for each freak-off. He was not paid for his time. I'm going to spend more than 10 seconds on a ridiculous argument, she said. All right, so let's see. All right. Lil Baby, I know you said for the chat, but I'm going to answer. Absolutely, honey. I'm here for all of that. All of it. All of it, honey. I'm here for all of it. Ooh, y'all, it looks like we got the Brandon complaint. We got the Brandon lawsuit. It's not long at all. We may get into it before we have to go to... are you asking which one? I don't know, that butter pecan be having me somewhere folded up. That butter pecan is good. Cinnamon roll syrup is good too. The caramel apple butter is good too. But I say go with butter pecan. I don't know what the chat might say, but I say go with butter pecan. Sasha says, praying that this monster goes away for a very long time. Kendrick Lamar continues to be prophetic. He said that Drake and Jay Prince are approaching the end of their freedom. Only God can teleport this type of freedom. Oh my! And you up at 6:16 in the morning in LA? I know that's right. Okay. So they also talk about, the prosecutors also talk about Ventura being forced into the freak-offs even after she said no. And prosecutors also say that Combs used drugs to control Ventura and compel her to do freak-offs. They also talked about the fact that KK knew of a lot of things. There was one instance where Diddy didn't want KK to know about the freak-off. And I'm just a little confused. I don't think I'll ever understand it. I'm just a little confused as to why you didn't want her to know about the freak-off, as if she didn't already know what was going on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Child, but that was with Jane. And listen, I believe the prosecutors laid out a lot of things yesterday, and I'm about to go over this summary thing, but I think that they laid out a lot of things yesterday. I think they did a good job, the prosecution. I do. I think they did a good job yesterday. So here we go. The prosecution has concluded its closing arguments with prosecutor Christie spending more than 4 hours today delivering remarks on behalf of the government. All right. So here's how she ended her closing remarks after the afternoon break. To convict Combs of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, the jury must find that he knowingly transported an individual in interstate or foreign commerce, intending for that person to engage in prostitution. She said that Combs paid for the individuals to travel for sexual encounters with Cassie Ventura and Jane in several states and abroad, and outlined multiple examples to illustrate her point. The predicated act, transportation of prostitution, is also a predicated act under the racketeering conspiracy charge. She said that there is significant evidence. The former chief of staff, KK, knew what was happening in the hotel rooms, facilitated travel for escorts, and ensured Combs received thousands of dollars in cash when he requested it during and after the hotel nights. Forced labor. Noted that the forced labor is also an element of the racketeering conspiracy. Charge, telling the jury that they heard evidence of forced labor involving several witnesses. She said that Combs forced Ventura and Jane into grueling, days-long sexual encounters without sleep qualifies as forced labor. Ooh, and that's interesting. So I've also referenced the testimony of Mia, Combs' assistant, who said that he actually assaulted her while she worked for him, emphasizing that as Mia's boss, Combs had all the power and control over her. Witness tampering and obstruction. Christie said that Combs engaged in witness tampering and obstruction after Ventura's lawsuit was filed in November of 2023, knowing that the civil allegations could lead to criminal investigation. Combs turned to his inner circle to help neutralize those who could harm him the most, including Jane. Ooh. Remember, Combs was denied bail 3 times after his arrest, as prosecutors alleged that he continued to attempt to obstruct the evidence. Obstruct the investigation, my bad. Christie concluded her remarks by thanking the jury and summarizing the evidence presented over the past several weeks. Up until today, the defendant was able to get away with these crimes because of his money, his power, his influence. That stops now. It's time to hold him accountable. Ciao. Okay, she said it's time to hold him accountable. They also talked about how D-Rock was important in this, and how just they talked about how D-Rock was important in this, how Roger Bonds was important at one specific time as well. So listen, I think with the defense and what the defense is going to bring today is going to be really interesting. I do. I feel like it's going to be interesting. And I feel she contradicts herself every other statement. Oh wait, who y'all talking about? Oh, Tisa. Listen, I tell y'all this all the time. I respect anyone out here on this platform doing this thing. I respect Tisa. I disagree with a lot of things that she has done throughout this trial. But I mean, hey, who are me? Who are me, honey? Who are me? I am a nobody trying to tell somebody about everybody. You know. Yeah. I am a nobody, okay? I am a no freaking body. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let me make another thumbnail. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going to end this live. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to read this lawsuit on this live. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to read this lawsuit, and then I can edit this particular piece out and premiere it on the channel. Let's see. I'm almost an hour in. Okay, and I'll make this short. Okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me grab this lawsuit, because the lawsuit is not long. All right, here we go. So, the attorney is Busby. They are suing Sean Combs, Daddy House Records, Inc., Combs Global, Combs Enterprises, LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment Holding, Inc., Bad Boys Production Holding, Inc., Bad Boys Holding, Bad Boys Records, Bad Boys Entertainment, organization Does 1 through 10, and individual Does 1 through 10 as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this, and then we'll get ready for the defense today. Let's see here. I want to get into factual allegations. I ain't got time to read nothing else besides that. All right, here we go with the factual allegations. In 2021, plaintiff, a male in his 20s, was spotted at a gas station in Los Angeles when he noticed a black exclusive style SUV pulled up. The driver of the SUV struck up a conversation with plaintiff about plaintiff's vehicle, a Nissan GTR. What the hell is a Nissan GTR? And no, you ain't having a conversation about a Nissan, girl. A Nissan. Let me look this up. And ain't no shade to Nissan, but Nissan. GTR. Good. Good. This what you decided to have a conversation about? Girl. Anyway. After talking for a while, the driver told the plaintiff that he was working security at a party with A-list celebrities and invited plaintiff to attend. Plaintiff later learned that the party was hosted by defendant Combs. Plaintiff jumped at the opportunity to attend and followed the SUV to the party. Damn. He parked his car and went into the party through the front door. There, he was told that he had to leave his phone in his car in order to be allowed in, which he agreed to do. Once inside, the plaintiff saw a party full of swing with a large number of people hanging around, talking and drinking. Plaintiff saw other celebrities in attendance but did not interact with any of them. Plaintiff drank a Red Bull with vodka while getting his bearings. Not while getting his bearings. He was then approached by a female server dressed in lingerie who was carrying a tray filled with glasses of champagne. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me at these type of parties, well, it has been proven that the ladies do walk around in lingerie. I have seen photographs and videos of some in thongs and stuff like that. So I do believe that. I do believe that. We've seen photographs. And actually, if you go to TMZ, they got some of them pictures on TMZ. Okay. Who was carrying wait a minute. Carrying a tray full of glasses of champagne. Plaintiff took a glass and drank it. He quickly began to feel off, initially only slightly dizzy, but it continued to get more intense. Plaintiff thought that he might have alcohol poisoning, but was confused on his level of intoxication confused on his level of intoxication was much greater than it should have been from the small amount of alcohol that he had consumed. Plaintiff later suspected that the champagne had been drugged. Plaintiff, increasingly concerned with his mental state, began looking for a place to lie down. He eventually found an empty bedroom, collapsed onto the bed, and fell unconscious. The next thing plaintiff remembered is the feeling of a hand unbuckling his belt. Plaintiff wait a minute. This is my question. Okay, so you felt bad enough and you went to the first bedroom that you saw? I would assume that if Diddy was having these type of parties, that the bedrooms would be off limits. Unless something was gonna go down. Okay. Anyway, then the next thing that the plaintiff remembered was the feeling of a hand unbuckling his belt. Plaintiff asked what was going on, to which a voice that on information and belief belonged to defendant Combs answered, "You're about to get that Diddy love." Plaintiff, still unable to understand what was happening due to his intoxication, initially believed that a woman was attempting to take his clothes off to have sex with him. Plaintiff tried to stop this by stating, "I'm sorry, I can't, I'm married, I have kids." Plaintiff was rolled from his stomach onto his side and recalls feeling his pants being removed and feeling a breeze on his upper thighs. Plaintiff still protesting that and was told, "Don't worry, you're about to get a great massage." Plaintiff, still under the influence of the unknown substance he consumed, assumed that this was true. He quickly began to feel someone massaging his buttocks and some form of liquid being put on his body. He felt someone bite his shoulder, not bite it, and then felt severe pain in his rectum, causing him to flinch. Girl. He turned his head and saw defendant Combs sodomizing him. Plaintiff, now feeling almost completely sober due to the trauma of the situation, tried to protest. Defendant Combs grabbed the back of the plaintiff's neck and recited the plaintiff's full name, address, date of birth, and driver's license number, threatening him. Now, how the hell would Diddy have remembered all of that? Because he would have been on the rugs, too. So he remembered all of that without... So you studied this man's driver's license and stuff? Now, again, how did the man study your driver's license when you allegedly went in the room and you just said I don't know, y'all. If you a random man that went in the room because you felt, mind you, Diddy didn't know nothing about you. Okay, I think I'm thinking with too much sense, but okay, let me just keep reading. At this point, plaintiff went into survival mode, remaining quiet when Combs continued to assault him. Finally, Combs finished and left the room. Plaintiff, stunned by the assault and feeling the lingering effects of the drugs, went into the bathroom where he experienced significant pain and vile sensation of Combs' semen leaking from his rectum. Oh my God. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. Plaintiff cleaned himself up as best as he could, put his clothes back on, and exited the bathroom. He was determined to confront Combs. He left the room, picking up a bottle of alcohol with the intent of using it as a weapon. He finally saw Combs and started toward him, but was interrupted by two security guards. The guards, each well over 6 feet in height, grabbed Plaintiff by his arms and nearly carried him to another room. Once inside the room, the security guards presented Plaintiff with two options. Number one, either play along, leave the party, and act like nothing ever happened, or two, the hard way. Plaintiff was then reminded that Combs and his security had scanned Plaintiff's driver's license. Plaintiff initially indicated that he was going to go to the police. The security then aggressively leaned onto him, and Plaintiff decided that it was his best chance at getting home was to play along. He agreed to leave and kept what had occurred to himself. Plaintiff was presented with the form of an NDA, which he was told to sign but not date. Not date it. That means they can fandango with the NDA. That's one thing you always need to remember. An NDA should always have a effective date and an expiration date, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I'm just saying. Anyway. Once he did so, the guard escorted him to the exit of the property, allowing the plaintiff to leave and get into his vehicle. Plaintiff's day did not end there. However, due to the lingering effects of the drugs he unknowingly consumed, plaintiff was pulled over on his way home and placed under arrest for DUI. Due to the defendant's actions, plaintiff has lived with the shame, humiliation, embarrassment, and the emotional and mental pain of that night ever since. Further, he has dealt with the financial and legal consequences of a DUI that he received as a result of being drugged. Plaintiff has now gathered the courage to file a lawsuit seeking damages and justice for his... Wait a minute. Oh, justice for his sexual assault. Got it. So, the first claim, sexual assault and sexual battery. The second claim is gender violence. The third claim is negligent supervision, retention. And they are demanding a trial by jury. Brandon Adams prays for the following relief against the defendant for the past and present and future general damages in the amount to be determined at trial, for the cost of this suit, for the interest of allowed by the attorney, and all attorney fees accumulated. Oh, child. Okay, so that's the end of that lawsuit. Girl, that's a lot. I'm surprised he didn't go to the police. They could have performed a R. Kit and collected DNA. Well, this happened. When did he say this happened? I think he said this happened in 2021. Let's see. Where were the factual allegations? Let me scroll back up. Yeah, 2021. Child, I don't know. This is a lot. All right, let me see. Good morning, Lady D. Good morning. Good morning. Me either, little baby. And that was at, and these things were happening at these parties. Not saying that they don't happen. I'm just saying that we didn't hear that. No one ever testified to that. No one ever testified to being at a Diddy party and these things happening. The only thing that they have testified to is the freak offs. And we legit knew about those. But as far as this specifically, or specifically about parties that Diddy hosted at his house, we're not really hearing about those. Which makes me wonder several things, but ultimately we've never heard anyone talk about these things. So yeah. Did he come out with the allegations after Diddy was arrested? No, he's just now coming out with these allegations now. That's the crazy part, Alec. That's why I was saying, to me, I think that the timing is weird. The timing is extremely weird because again, why wait until the closing arguments of this particular trial? Something just doesn't sit right with me with that. Never. And he's been having these parties for years. And that's why I said, for me, covering this trial for the last month or whatever, I feel like, again, we had never heard anybody testify to those parties, which, again, I ain't saying nothing didn't happen, but anyway. So y'all heard it. Let me see. Let me go here. Let's see. 18 minutes ago. What happens next in this criminal trial? So Mark Agnifilio, an attorney for Sean Diddy Combs, will be doing the closing arguments for the defense. Once he is finished, the government will have a chance to give a rebuttal. After that, the judge will charge the jury, which then will begin deliberations. Okay? All right. Well, here's what I am going to do, honey. I am going to end this particular video, and then we're gonna set up another video for us. So hold on. I remember FOs before, after events like Cassie's B-Day party, before a movie premiere, Christmas, etc. They happened all the time, but he seemed to really want them around special occasions. Right, but the FOs only included an escort or multiple escorts up to 3, and Jane or Cassie and then Diddy, right? I guess my thing is, I've never really actually heard them say, oh, after a party, you know, we would have to have sex with such and such, we'd have to watch such and such have sex, or we'd have to do. I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear none of that. The most I heard about a celebrity was when Jane said that she got on a private celebrity's plane and they went back to the hotel room after dinner, and that's how that happened. Which tells me that I'm just keep it all the way 1,000. Wow, allegedly, that tells me that all of y'all were into this type of stuff because, again, remember when I told y'all when she first said that, I told y'all, I said, this tells me that everybody that they surround themselves with just about does this type of stuff. They like this type of stuff. So I think that solidified what was said. So anyway, y'all, I am going to get off of here, and then we'll be back for the defense's closing arguments. All right, y'all hit that like button, subscribe, honey, and I will catch you guys in the next one. And if that's in a few minutes, literally. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be back in probably about like 8:15. Hey, let me put that in the chat because I don't know if y'all can still hear me. Okay. It'll be at 8:15 if y'all can still hear me. All right? So, I'll be right back. Peace.